Holiday religion. You ever heard of it? I guarantee you've experienced it. The other day I was standing in line at a store, and the lady who was waiting on us, she had some problems and she was apologizing, and I said, "That's okay, don't worry about it." And the lady beside me, she said, "It's nice to see people being nice." And I said, "Well, most times it's holiday religion." And she said, "Well, what is that?" And I said, "Well, normally people, it seems, in our society, they strive to see how ugly they can be. There are times, though, that people seem to be nice. Well, what's the difference? Well, let me show you. In the book of Romans, in the first chapter, you read about people who are unrighteous, committing fornication, wicked, covetous, envious, murderers, backbiters, disobedient to parents, didn't have natural affection. That's a horrible thing. Well, you compare that if you go over to the book of 1 Thessalonians in the 5th chapter. The Apostle Paul, as he wrote unto them, he talked about their labor of love, their patience and hope. Then in the end of the book, he told them about the things that they needed to continue doing. Be at peace, have comfort one to another, support the weak, be patient, don't render evil for evil, just follow that which is good, rejoice evermore. Well, what's the difference in those two? Well, it's the same difference in society today. You look in the book of 1 Thessalonians, he talks about the fact that those individuals whom he commended for the life that they lived, the love they showed, he said, you turn to God from idols to serve the true and living God. Those in Romans chapter 1, the reason that they were doing such evil things and acting ugly, verse 28 of chapter 1, they did not like to retain God in their knowledge. In other words, don't need God. But there are times, like this holiday season on us, that people get holiday religion. So they act nice. But let me tell you something. The world doesn't need holiday religion. It needs God all the time. And God has provided that hope, that means, that ability to be who we ought to be through Jesus Christ. God loved each one of us enough to give his only begotten Son, John 3 and verse 16. Question is, do we love him part-time? Or do we look to him and love him always? The Apostle Paul talked about the change in his life in Galatians 2 and verse 20. He said, I'm crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live. Yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. The life that I live by the faith of the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. We can help you to make that decision if you'd like. Love to study the Bible with you, give you some information to show you who God is and the love he's shown and the love he expects us to have towards him and towards one another. Thank you for listening.